For every legendary WWE match like the Royal Rumble that gave us iconic moments, there's one epic fail like the Punjabi Prison that either confused fans or simply put them to sleep. Kicking off our list with one of the most brutal stipulations in WWE history, Hell in a Cell. The rules are simple. Two competitors are locked inside a massive steel structure that surrounds the ring and ringside area. You can only win by pinfall or submission, and there's no escaping the cage. The Hell in a Cell has given us moments that have defined entire eras. The Undertaker vs. Mankind remains the gold standard, with Mick Foley being thrown off the structure in what became one of wrestling's most replayed moments. Then there's Triple H vs. Cactus Jack at No Way Out, a match so violent that it elevated both performers to legendary status. The best cell matches feel like the natural conclusion to blood feuds that couldn't be settled any other way. Shawn Michaels vs. Undertaker at Bad Blood wasn't just a great match, it was the perfect ending to their rivalry and gave us Kane's legendary debut. More recently, matches like Seth Rollins vs. Dean Ambrose and CM Punk vs. Drew McIntyre proved the cell still works when the story justifies its use. Just like the madness of the cell, the Elimination Chamber is another cage structure that has elevated as well as destroyed careers. The Elimination Chamber was introduced in 2002 and has become one of the most exciting matches on WWE's road to WrestleMania. 6 competitors start in individual pods surrounding the ring, with 2 starting the match. Every 5 minutes, another pod opens randomly, releasing a fresh wrestler into the battle. The last person standing after everyone else has been eliminated walks away victorious and usually gets a title shot at WrestleMania. The Chamber's brilliance lies in its unpredictability and multiple storylines happening simultaneously. The structure itself, made of steel chains and unforgiving metal, becomes a character in the match. The inaugural Chamber at Survivor Series 2002 featured Shawn Michaels, Triple H, Chris Jericho, Kane, Booker T, and Rob Van Dam in a match that perfectly showcased what the structure could do. Edge cashing in his briefcase on Cena after he survived the brutal Chamber will always be one of the most surprising moments in WWE history. Personally, the Chamber matches from 2009 and 2010 are my favorites because of the star power and heightened drama during the climax. Speaking of structures, let's talk about one that looked impressive but delivered nothing but disappointment. The Punjabi Prison match sounds cool on paper. A bamboo cage surrounding the ring with a larger bamboo cage surrounding that. 4 doors on the inner cage that can be opened for 60 seconds before closing permanently, and the only way to win is escaping both structures. In reality, the Punjabi Prison was a beautiful disaster that proved that sometimes wrestling tries too hard to be different. In a Hell in a Cell or traditional cage match, fans can see everything clearly, and the steel structure amplifies the impact of every collision. The Punjabi Prison's bamboo construction made it nearly impossible for live audiences to see what was happening, and when wrestlers hit the cage, it made barely any sound. The rules about door closings created artificial drama that felt forced rather than organic. The Great Khali vs. Batista was supposed to showcase the match's potential, but instead became a slow, plodding affair that tested fans' patience. WWE tried reviving the Punjabi Prison in 2017 with Randy Orton vs. Jinder Mahal, but the match ended up being nothing more than mediocre. Just like the Punjabi Prison, the ambulance match is another concept that sounds interesting on paper, but can be a total disaster in execution. The rules of an ambulance match are straightforward. Beat your opponent badly enough to stuff them in an ambulance and close the doors. While traditional matches build tension through near falls and submission attempts, ambulance matches have none of that. Instead, they follow the same boring pattern every time. Wrestlers brawl around ringside, one gets the upper hand, they fight near the ambulance, someone gets put inside, they fight their way out, repeat until someone finally stays in the ambulance long enough for the doors to close. Watching grown men struggle to put each other in a vehicle that's sitting right there with doors wide open looks ridiculous. The only way to compensate for the lack of drama in an ambulance match is by adding insane spots that leave fans gasping. Braun Strowman vs. Roman Reigns in 2017 and Kane vs. Shane McMahon from 2003 are some good examples where adding destruction and chaos can overcome the stipulations' inherent problems. But for the most part, nearly every ambulance match from Cena vs. Kane to Cena vs. Ryback has been underwhelming. However, when gimmick matches are done right, they can revolutionize the entire wrestling industry. Money in the Bank isn't just a loved match type, it's arguably WWE's greatest innovation of the 21st century. The concept is beautifully simple. Multiple competitors compete in a ladder match with a briefcase hanging above the ring. Inside that briefcase is a contract guaranteeing a world championship match at any time and place of the winner's choosing within the next year. What makes Money in the Bank so beloved is how it creates a year-long storyline from a single match. The briefcase holder becomes an unpredictable wildcard who can cash in their contract whenever they want, adding suspense to every championship match for an entire year. The match itself consistently delivers show-stealing performances. Edge winning the inaugural Money in the Bank at WrestleMania 21 established the blueprint. CM Punk's back-to-back victories in 2008 and 2009 proved the match could elevate mid-card performers to main event status. Seth Rollins' cash-in at WrestleMania 31 remains one of the most shocking and perfectly executed moments in WrestleMania history. It's a platform for younger talent to showcase their abilities, a tool for creative storytelling throughout the year, and a guaranteed spot fest that fans can count on for insane high-risk action. Speaking of ladder matches, let's talk about the granddaddy. Tables, ladders, and chairs, aka the TLC match. TLC matches take everything fans love about ladder matches and amplify it to 11. Whether it's Cena vs. Edge or CM Punk vs. Jeff Hardy, TLC matches promise destruction of a hardcore match, along with the high-stakes drama of a ladder match. The match was born from the legendary rivalry between three of the greatest tag teams in WWE history. The Hardy Boys, Edge and Christian, and the Dudley Boys pushed each other to increasingly dangerous heights throughout 2000 and 2001, culminating in two of the most celebrated matches in WWE history. WrestleMania 17's TLC match remains the gold standard, with Jeff Hardy's Swanton Bomb off a 20-foot ladder, Edge spearing Jeff Hardy in midair, and countless other death-defying spots that made TLC synonymous with chaos and unpredictability. Even in recent years, matches like Bray Wyatt vs. Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns vs. Kevin Owens showed that the stipulation works when the performers are committed to delivering something special. But while TLC works for its simplicity, the King of the Mountain match ends up being a total disaster because of its unnecessary complexity. TNA's King of the Mountain match tried so hard to be different from WWE's ladder matches that it forgot to be entertaining. The rules are needlessly complicated. 5 competitors fight for one championship, but instead of climbing a ladder to retrieve the belt, they must hang it on a hook above the ring. However, before anyone can hang the belt, they must become eligible by scoring a pinfall or submission. Oh, and whoever gets pinned or submits must sit in a penalty box for 2 minutes. King of the Mountain's biggest problem is that it asks too much from fans. Wrestling works best when the rules are simple and easy to follow. Ladder matches work because everyone understands the goal. Climb the ladder, grab the prize, win the match. With King of the Mountain, instead of enjoying the action, fans are playing mental gymnastics trying to remember the convoluted rules. TNA ran King of the Mountain matches for years, desperately trying to make their signature stipulation matter. Some matches, like the 2007 edition with Kurt Angle, Christian Cage, and Samoa Joe, created memorable moments despite the stupid rules. But even with talented performers, the match never reached the heights of a great ladder match. However, when it comes to matches that are different and beloved, nothing comes close to the Royal Rumble. The Royal Rumble is WWE's most successful match innovation ever. A concept so perfect that it's remained virtually unchanged since 1988. 30 competitors enter the ring at usually 90-second intervals, and the only way to be eliminated is by being thrown over the top rope with both feet touching the floor. The last person standing wins and gets a main event spot at WrestleMania. The Royal Rumble's genius lies in its storytelling flexibility. It's essentially 30 mini-matches happening within one larger match, allowing WWE to advance multiple storylines simultaneously. A dominant monster like Kane can rack up eliminations to look unstoppable. An underdog like Rey Mysterio can survive against the odds. A mid-card rivalry can get a brief moment. Legends can make surprise returns. Comedy spots can make fans laugh. All of this happens organically within the same match structure, making every Rumble feel fresh despite following the same basic format. Rey Mysterio's emotional 2006 victory, John Cena's 2008 return, Shawn Michaels' elimination from the match in 2010, Kofi Kingston's memorable spots, and Edge's return in 2020 are some moments that showed the Rumble could deliver genuine emotion alongside excitement. Whether it's The Undertaker winning his first Rumble, Shawn Michaels going wire-to-wire in 1995, or Cody Rhodes completing his comeback story by winning in 2024, the Royal Rumble delivers magic year after year. But while the Royal Rumble shows how spectacle can enhance wrestling, the Inferno Match proves that spectacle without substance simply ends up being a disaster. Imagine a match where the ring is surrounded by flames, and the only way to win is by setting your opponent on fire. That's the Inferno match, and while it sounds fun on paper, it's horrible in execution. The entire match becomes a waiting game like an ambulance match until the finish, where someone gets set on fire. The wrestlers will execute every move in their arsenal except trying to push their opponent into the flames. Then suddenly, with no real build-up, one wrestler will overpower the other and accomplish what they supposedly couldn't do for the previous 15 minutes. Kane versus The Undertaker at Unforgiven was the first Inferno match, and while the spectacle was impressive, the actual wrestling was forgettable. WWE brought the stipulation back sporadically over the years, including Kane vs. MVP in 2008 and Kane vs. Bray Wyatt in 2013, but each iteration highlighted the match's fundamental flaws. The Inferno match is all sizzle and no steak, a visual gimmick that looks cool in promotional material but fails to deliver anything beyond some one-off shock value. Speaking of gimmicks that sound better than they actually are, let's talk about the stairs match. In 2014, WWE decided that TLC needed to add another letter and created TLCS, tables, ladders, chairs, and stairs. The only problem? Nobody asked for a match where steel stairs are the only legal weapon. The fact that WWE has only done one stairs match in its entire history tells you everything you need to know about how well this concept worked. The stairs match suffers from a fatal flaw that should have been obvious from the start. Steel stairs are boring weapons. Tables break satisfyingly when someone crashes through them. Ladders can be climbed to create high-risk spots. Chairs bend and dent, making satisfying sounds on impact. Steel stairs do none of these things. They're just heavy, immobile objects that make a thud when they hit someone. That's it. Big Show versus Eric Rowan at TLC 2014 was the one and only stairs match, and it was exactly as tedious as you'd imagine. Thankfully, not every no disqualification stipulation is a disaster. The last man standing match represents everything that wrestling fans love about hardcore matches. The rules of a last man standing match are simple. There are no pinfalls, no submissions, no countouts, and no disqualifications. The only way to win is to incapacitate your opponent so badly that they cannot answer a 10 count. If both men can't answer the count, the match is a draw. This creates a completely different dynamic from normal matches, where the goal isn't just to beat your opponent, but to destroy them. Last man standing matches work because they feel like real fights taken to their logical extreme. When two wrestlers hate each other enough that a regular match won't settle their feud, watching them beat each other until one literally cannot continue feels like the perfect conclusion. The match type has produced some of the most memorable wars in WWE history. Shawn Michaels versus Triple H saw two best friends turned bitter enemies destroy each other for nearly half an hour. John Cena versus Umaga at Royal Rumble 2007 showcased how the stipulation could make an unstoppable monster look vulnerable while simultaneously elevating Cena's never-give-up persona. More recently, Gargano versus Ciampa in NXT demonstrated the beauty of this stipulation. Originally created by Dusty Rhodes in the 1980s for NWA and WCW, WarGames is the ultimate team warfare match. Two rings sit side by side, surrounded by one massive steel cage. Two teams, usually consisting of 4 or 5 members each, battle inside the structure. The match begins with one member from each team starting in opposite rings. After a set time period, another member enters. This continues until all team members have entered, then the match officially begins and can only end by pinfall or submission. What makes WarGames special is how it combines the best elements of multiple match types into one perfect package. It has the brutality of a cage match, the entry drama of a Royal Rumble or Elimination Chamber, the team dynamics of traditional tag wrestling, and the chaos of a hardcore brawl. WarGames has produced some of the most legendary matches in wrestling history. The Four Horsemen versus the Road Warriors and Dusty Rhodes in 1987 established the template for how brutal and exciting the match could be. When WWE finally brought WarGames back in 2017 for NXT TakeOver events, fans rejoiced at seeing the legendary match type return. The modern versions have been consistently excellent, with the Bloodline WarGames matches delivering drama, violence, and emotional storytelling, making every Survivor Series pay-per-view must-see. Speaking of pay-per-views, check out this video next about the most loved versus most hated WWE pay-per-views.